Hey everybody, welcome back to Let's Talk. My name is John, and today here on the channel, we're going to be talking about my all-time favorite film, 1984's The Terminator, and its brand new 4K Blu-ray that just came out from Warner Brothers. But guys, before we get into that 4K Blu-ray review, I always like to give a film review, even though I have reviewed The Terminator at least 4 other times here on this channel, including a full breakdown with David aka Shamrock Balls, but I'll give you some quick thoughts on the movie and why I think this film is a masterpiece. But if you only want to know about this brand new 4K Blu-ray, you guys can skip ahead to that right now. I was going to wear the sunglasses for the whole video, but I literally cannot see without either contacts or regular glasses, so we're going to have to remove those for now. So we'll just go right back to my old standard look, standard John look, and dive into the movie The Terminator, which was directed by James Cameron, who co-wrote this movie with the producer of the film, Gail Ann Hurd, who was also married to James Cameron at the time. His future ex-wife, Linda Hamilton, is in this movie as Sarah Connor, but the big star of this film is Arnold Schwarzenegger. This is the movie that made Arnold a star. You know, we get his first real big line that he would bang out in pretty much all of his other movies.
I'll be back.
But this is my favorite film of all time for so many different reasons. I saw this at a way too young age. I've told this story before. I had seen Terminator 2 first. I was probably like 6 or 7 years old. Here in New York, they have a channel called Pix 11. It used to be WB 11 at the time. And every Saturday, they would do like a Saturday afternoon movie. And my parents were divorced. You know, my dad worked 6 days a week, so he worked on Saturday. So he didn't really want to go out. So, you know, me and my brother, we would just hang out in our room and watch movies. And that day, we happened to be watching Terminator 2. Now, my mom is the real big film buff. That's the person who I credit a lot for giving me my film fandom, mainly because she watched the movies that she wanted to watch, and of course a lot of those films are 1980s movies because she was born in 1970, so she wasn't watching any kid shit. She wanted to watch the adult movies no matter what, and she had no problem showing her 6-year-old son The Terminator. I went back to her and I said, hey, I watched Terminator 2 this weekend. I loved it. She's like, okay, well, there is a first Terminator. We went to the library. I can remember the black VHS case that it came in, and it just had, you know, an index card that said The Terminator 1984 on it. That was it. That was their filing system. They didn't have any box art or anything. Took it home, and I loved the movie. It wasn't as good as Terminator 2, in my opinion, at the time, mainly because Terminator 2 is the big flashier blockbuster. You know, there's a little bit more humor in there. This movie is very dark, gritty, serious the entire time. Takes place mostly at night. This is not a happy film, but as you get older and you realize, no, this movie is perfect. This is a fantastic, well-directed, well-written film with some great performances in here, and James Cameron had to work on a budget. This is something that he isn't used to doing now. Now he has full carte blanche. That's the reason why he gets to make these huge Avatar films, you know, playing with new technology. But here, he had to work within the constraints of a budget. Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know, he's a pretty big newcomer at the time. You know, obviously, he's on the rise. Conan the Barbarian had already come out, but this wasn't supposed to be his career movie. But because this movie became such a juggernaut, not just in theaters, even though it did do well in theaters, it did even better at home. You know, this is during the rise of video stores, so people got a hold of this, and then as time went on, Arnold became a bigger star, and that's what led to Terminator 2. But in this movie, he plays the T-800, the villain, who's sent back in time to kill Sarah Connor, played by Linda Hamilton. But someone is there to intervene, a friend of John Connor, the future leader of the Resistance, and then they have Skynet against the ropes. This is their last-ditch effort. They find the time displacement equipment, they send the T-800 into the future, but the Resistance is able to send Kyle Reese, who we find out in this film is also the father of John Connor. Just to bring things full circle, he's sent back to 1984 to save Sarah Connor. And as we see, you know, the Terminator only knows a name in the city. They don't actually know which one, so it's the phone book killer. He's going down, he's got Sarah Ann, then Sarah J. Connor, you know, all the different Sarah Connors. He doesn't know what he looks like. He's just a killing machine on a mission. He's there for one thing, and I love how in this movie, Michael Bihn's Kyle Reese lays it out for Sarah Connor that, hey, there's no negotiating with this guy. He's gonna fucking kill you if I don't intervene on this. And he's like, you know, I don't have the technology. You know, this is human skin over exoskeleton. Like, this isn't something that's gonna be easy to take down. This can kill anything if it wants to. Luckily, I know what we're dealing with, and I'm gonna do my best. And the entire movie has a great score through it. One of my favorite scores of all time, done by Brad Fiedel. Just a perfect score. He would double down on Terminator 2, but I still think the original one is the best one. The movie itself, it's got that dark Los Angeles look. We even get some big landmarks of Los Angeles in this movie, but we spend most of the movie at night. You know, it does kind of feel like this could be going on while the rest of the world is just out there living their regular lives. But this Terminator is there just to kill Sarah Connor. Nobody really would understand why or believe him, as we see in the best scene in this film, which is the police station scene where the Terminator comes in and he's just gung-ho to kill Sarah Connor. And if you get in his way, you're gonna fucking die. And that's why he ends up killing, I believe it was 17 police officers in there. And he failed. He did not get Sarah Connor. I love the shot of when Kyle Reese and Sarah Connor get in the car and they're driving away and the Terminator sees them and he's just walking. That's it. He's on a path. He's there to kill Sarah Connor and prevent the birth of John Connor. And this movie, it's a life lesson about what could happen in the dangers of AI. We've made it to artificial intelligence.
Looks like we made it. Look how far we've come, my baby.
It's out there. You can see it on your phone right now. And if we're not careful, I mean, I don't think this will happen. This is definitely an over-exaggeration, but something like that. You know, the machines destroy the world on Judgment Day. And, you know, then they start creating Terminators to go out there and just become straight killers. That's it. They have one goal, and that's to kill. And that's what a Terminator is. And it led to what, in my opinion, is the greatest film of all time. And one of the things, if you've been watching this channel for any amount of time, is my most anticipated 4K Blu-ray has always been the Terminator. And it's finally here. So let's talk about that right now. And here it is, the brand new Warner Bros. 4K Steelbook of 1984's The Terminator, which will replace this 2013 Blu-ray that also replaced the previously released Blu-ray. But this Blu-ray is important because the elements of this Blu-ray is what led to this 4K Blu-ray. It's basically taking everything that we saw in that Blu-ray, which I think is a very good Blu-ray, throwing some HDR10, some Dolby Vision over the visuals, make it look beautiful. But I don't want to get ahead of myself before we talk about those visuals, because we do have this beautiful 4K Steelbook, and it also got a regular standard edition. Now, neither of these used the original box art, which did disappoint me a little bit. I didn't love the colors on the Steelbook, and I still don't really 100% love the colors. This doesn't scream T1 to me, but seeing it in person with that matte finishing on it, I think it works a lot better. You know, it's got kind of semi-gloss on some of the outlines, like right here on the back on Arnold when he comes into 1984. I love that. So this did kind of grow on me a little bit. Seeing it in person is definitely better. I appreciate the individual disc design. You come inside, you get Arnold right there. So I didn't mind this artwork. It's just I would have liked something a little more in line with what I think of the Terminator colors, like red, black, and like that silvery blue. I don't really think of orange or like off-white. Just not something that pops in my head. Now that regular slipcover edition, that's closer to the original movie poster, but it's not the original movie poster. So yeah, I could see down the line them giving us another Steelbook releases just because the Terminator is really popular. Now, as far as the extras go that are on this, because it is a one-disc set, so you only get one 4K Blu-ray and you don't get a Blu-ray with it, so this is all you're going to be getting, and all your extras are on that disc. And you know what? The extras, they finally brought back some extras that were removed from this 2013 Blu-ray, and all the extras, you know what? You've seen them before. I'm somebody who's kind of disappointed with that, just because these extras have been following around the movie for so long. It just would have been nice to get a new looking back on, a new making of documentary about the Terminator. It's weird, James Cameron came out and made a whole new documentary about The Abyss. I don't remember if he did one for True Lies, but he definitely sat down for new interviews. I think he sat down for one interview for this movie. And this, in my opinion, this and Terminator 2, and as much as he might say the Avatar movies are his legacy, I still think he'll be most remembered for the Terminator films. And yet he doesn't seem to want to like sit down and talk about the original Terminator film. I don't know if he just has bad memories making the movie. This isn't the movie he imagined making, because again, this is kind of when he was contained by a budget. It's just weird that, you know, we couldn't get Arnold to come in, or Linda Hamilton, all these people that are still around, talk about the movie. I just really feel like we could have made a beautiful 2-hour documentary. I got a 2-hour making of documentary for Drag Me to Hell, but I couldn't get one for the greatest film ever. You know, I don't know. People love the Terminator, and it just would have been really cool to get a brand new documentary. But saying all that, the stuff that is on here, I've seen it a million times. It's all really good. You also get the deleted scenes. It's just, you know, I wanted a little bit more from that. Now, the audio. This is a 10 out of 10. The audio, they went all out for this. First of all, we used to have a DTS HD Master Audio 5.1. Now we get a brand new Dolby Atmos track, and it's a kick-ass Dolby Atmos track as well. Feels very bombastic, I think is the best way to describe this. It feels like a modern Atmos track, so if you were to watch the Terminator now, you're going to get that heavy bass. Like, I really noticed this, like, when the Arnold slams the car into the police station, how loud it is. Also, in the beginning, when, you know, the opening credits start, the Brad Fiedel score, you kind of can hear the screeching of the metal a lot louder now. You could barely hear it if you could hear it on the previously released Blu-ray. So they definitely went in there and adjusted the audio and give us this brand new Dolby Atmos track. And in saying that, this great Dolby Atmos track that is phenomenal, I actually am really happy, and I didn't think I would really care about this, is that they included the original theatrical audio in here, and it has different sound effects, and it sounds very 1980s. Now, I can't tell for sure if this was the audio on the VHS. We're going back a long time here, but it sounded awesome. It kind of took me back to the 80s in a little bit, because watching this movie just makes me feel so nostalgic, just because it's my favorite film ever, and it reminds me of my childhood. And I actually really preferred, I was switching between it on my remote, between the Atmos track and then track number 2 is that old, I guess, original theatrical audio, and I was just having a blast with it, and I spent most of the movie actually watching that. So I think that might be the audio I use going forward, despite the fact that we get a brand new Dolby Atmos track in here. I just thought it was so cool that they included it, and you know, you can watch certain scenes, like in the future war scenes, and hear the different effects. I just absolutely love that. Thought it was fucking awesome, and I'm so glad they included that. Now, the big thing, and what most people want to know about, are those visuals. How are they? I think this might be the best looking James Cameron 4K Blu-ray we got, or at least close to like Titanic, because I thought Titanic was really good, and so was The Abyss. But I was really worried about the Terminator. You know, my expectations, I tried not to let them get out of hand with the visuals. Hearing that they were using the same elements from that previously released Blu-ray, actually, I thought was good, because I thought that Blu-ray was fantastic. So I'm like, yeah, all I really wanted them to do was like touch that up and just make sure we have that film grain in there, which we still do. Now, I don't know for sure if any AI was used in the making of this. It's very possible, and it isn't a flawless looking 4K Blu-ray. Yeah, we get HDR10 and Dolby Vision, but there are going to be certain scenes that look softer than others, and most of this is going to come down to the source material, because again, this movie wasn't made on a huge budget. You could just see that even when you watch the previously released Blu-ray, in certain scenes, the chase scenes that end in that tunnel, when they get in that tunnel, I always thought that looked so beautiful, even on DVD, mainly because it's just lit great. You know, they're using a lot of low lighting, mainly to give you that dirty, gritty feeling. So, of course, not every scene is going to look as good as other scenes. And in saying all that, I still thought it was great visually. You know, we could see every little detail, sweat on Arnold. You know, you could even, on like when we get to the police station and just looking at Lance Hendrickson and Lieutenant Traxel, like looking at their clothes, looking at that comfy couch, you can see all the material, and that's all you could really ask for from a 4K Blu-ray. I just didn't really have too many issues with it, but of course, certain scenes I just you know, this would have looked a little bit better. We kind of kept that hazy look and a lot of stuff, which I was very happy about. I was afraid they would try and clean that up. They didn't. You know, just kind of make it still look like the Terminator. That's all I asked, and it still did feel like the Terminator, just slightly enhanced. Now, I can see this disappointing some people. I wasn't completely blown away by this. I still feel like if Arrow Video had done this 4K Blu-ray, we might have ended up with like a 10 out of 10 4K Blu-ray. We definitely would have got some new extras on there. But you know what? For a Warner Brothers release, I really do think that they actually put some time and care into this. Listen to fans, because it doesn't feel like True Lies, or in some cases, I know some people like Aliens on 4K Blu-ray. I still prefer the Blu-ray. I can safely say that I will be watching this 4K Blu-ray going forward, and this is, at this point, the definitive edition of the Terminator, which does make me happy to say that. And what would I give the Terminator on 4K Blu-ray on a score of 1 to 10? I wish I could give it a 10 out of 10, but I'm still going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. Still really good. You know, just being the extras junkie I am, I would have really liked more extras, and that's kind of where I figured Warner Brothers coming in, they would drop the ball, you know, fit it all on the one disc. You know, that's all stuff that just kind of unfortunately we have to deal with when we're dealing with a major studio compared to a boutique labels. You're going to get a little bit less care, but they still did a great job with this release, and I really think whatever version you choose to go, it's probably worth it at the full price, because I'm not overcharging. Even for the Steelbook, if you buy it through Groove, it's about $30 or even $24 for that standard edition. You know what? That's not a bad deal for this film on 4K Blu-ray, because it's not something that's going to cause like controversy like the last round of James Cameron 4K Blu-rays. But before we get out of here today, we do have a little bit of business to take care of. It is Tuesday. That means it's time for our digital code giveaway. Every single Friday, I ask you guys 2 digital code giveaway questions. All you have to do is answer 1 in the comment section. As long as you do that, you come back to this video right here every single Tuesday. I put your name on a magic wheel. I spin that bad boy 2 times. The 2 names it lands on, they have their choice of digital codes that you've seen on your screen before you today. And you know what? Let's just dive right into it and see who our 2 lucky winners are. All right, congratulations, Snowy Days and Austin Powers. You guys have both won in the past, so you know how this works. Reach out to me at letstalkentmt@gmail.com. Let me know which of the digital codes you want. I do have one for the Terminator. As long as the other winner doesn't take that digital code is all yours. And you guys could also reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, the artist formerly known as Twitter. Just make sure you guys direct message me, and I'll make sure I get back to you. And if you guys didn't win this week, don't worry about it at all. Make sure you guys come back to this Friday's video where we will do this all again. And if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we have channel memberships. So if you want to become a friend of the channel, a producer for the channel like John Doe Juggalo and Jet Eckert, you could do that. Or you could even become a channel director like Frank from Frank's Media Reviews and Mr. Smelly Potato. But if you got no money to throw away, guys, don't you worry about it at all. We just hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, get out in those streets, tell your friends about us, and then we'll be seeing you around.